Picture this. The Hague. The year is 1881. An art collector named Arnoldus Andries de Tombe walks into a dusty, chaotic auction house. He spots a painting sitting quietly in the corner. It's absolutely filthy, caked in centuries of grime, neglect, and sheer historical abuse. Nobody cares about it. He buys it for 2 guilders and 30 cents, basically the price of a cheap pint of beer. He takes it home, has it cleaned, and realizes he just bought the single most famous face in Dutch history. Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring. Today, she's a cultural juggernaut. She's literally nicknamed the Mona Lisa of the North. We print her face on coffee mugs, tote bags, and massive billboards. Hollywood made a multi-million-dollar movie about her, starring Scarlett Johansson. We think we know her intimately. But here is the thing, we don't. Look at her. Really look at her. Almost everything you think you know about this painting is a meticulously crafted, deliberate lie. For centuries, we have been staring at a physically impossible piece of jewelry. We have been staring at a ruined canvas held together by South American tree sap and a face painted with the crushed bodies of foreign insects. We have been asking the completely wrong questions. We ask who she is, or who she was sleeping with. But what if the most famous face in the world is hiding a bizarre medical anomaly, impossible optical physics, and a deeply unsettling secret about her actual identity? What if I told you the darkest secret hiding on this piece of 17th century fabric isn't who she is, but what she was engineered to do to your brain? Let us start with the obvious, her face. For decades, modern medical professionals stared at this girl and genuinely thought she was severely ill. Dermatologists looked at her complete lack of eyebrows and eyelashes and suspected a condition called madarosis, medical term for the physical loss of brows and lashes. They dug deeper. They argued that her massive, heavy turban wasn't a fashion statement at all. It was completely unusual for a 17th century Dutch girl to wear something so exotic. They theorized it was a medical bandage, a highly practical garment worn to hide a completely bald scalp caused by an autoimmune disease called alopecia areata. Some doctors even spotted a tiny red mark on her lower lip and loudly suggested she had first-stage syphilis. Yes, they diagnosed a painting with an STD. But wait, hair loss happens in secondary syphilis, not the first stage, and her skin is otherwise completely flawless. Recently, an international team of researchers hauled in high-resolution 3D digital microscopes. They zoomed in exactly 140 times on her face, scanning the canvas at a microscopic level. And there they were, tiny, perfectly painted eyelashes. They had just faded into obscurity over 3.5 centuries. She wasn't sick. The red mark on her lip? Probably just a cold sore or a slip of the brush. So she is perfectly healthy. That brings us to her wealth. Look at the namesake of the entire painting, the pearl. It is the focal point of the masterpiece. But if you stare at it closely, your brain starts to glitch. There's no hook, no silver wire connecting that massive, heavy jewel to her earlobe. Vermeer painted the flesh of her neck, let it dry entirely, and then just slapped a thin scumble of whitish paint right over the top of it. The bright, sharp reflection on the top left. That is just a thick, teardrop-shaped glob of lead-white paint. It is entirely an optical illusion hovering in mid-air. He tricked you. And if the pearl is a lie, and she is not a sick patient, who on earth is this girl? And why is she covered in such an obscene amount of wealth? Look at her lips again. that flush, lifelike red colour. It is not just standard paint, it is American cochineal, which is a polite scientific way of saying Vermeer painted her smile using the crushed bodies of Vermeer's tiny insects imported all the way from the cactus fields of Mexico. Move up to her stunning blue headscarf. He painted it using natural ultramarine. That comes from lapis lazuli, a semi-precious rock physically dragged out of the mountains of Afghanistan. It was impossibly expensive. And the extravagance doesn't stop there. Look behind her. You think she is standing in a cinematic black void? No. Vermeer originally painted a vibrant, glowing green curtain draped right behind her. But you cannot see it today because the painting was treated like absolute garbage. 19th century restorers essentially vandalized it. They completely botched a repair job, soaked the delicate canvas, shattered Vermeer's original paint, and desperately tried to glue the crumbling pieces back together. They utterly destroyed the background. The brilliant green dyes faded and died, leaving us with the murky, dead black void we see today. But hold on. Frankly, the ruined curtain is just a distraction, a trick of history. Because when you look at the physical evidence that survived, you are left with a massive, glaring paradox. Let us do the math. Her smile is made of crushed Mexican insects. Her headscarf is coloured with a fortune in Afghan gemstones. She's wearing a jewel so thick it should physically stretch her earlobe, and so rare it would cost an absolute fortune. So she must be the daughter of an incredibly wealthy Dutch merchant. Here's the problem. Johannes Vermeer was famously, hopelessly broke. He died drowning in massive debt. So the real question, the one that will actually keep you up at night, is how a bankrupt artist afforded the most expensive, exotic materials on the planet just to paint this specific girl. Did he have a secret wealthy patron? Did he steal the pigments? Or is there another reason he spent everything he had on her? Who is she? Hollywood wants you to believe she was a forbidden lover. A lowly, beautiful maid working in Vermeer's house, wrapped up in a scandalous affair. Art historians spent decades fiercely arguing she was his eldest daughter, Maria. They are all entirely wrong. The girl with the pearl earring does not exist. In the 17th century Dutch art world, there was a highly specific type of painting called a tronie. That translates roughly from Dutch as face or expression. A tronie was never meant to be a portrait of a real, identifiable human being. It was more like the 17th century equivalent of an AI-generated influencer. Instead of hiring a model, Vermeer invented her out of thin air. He exaggerated her features, slapped an exotic, completely out-of-place Turkish-style turban on her head, and used her as a blank slate to show off his technical skills. You are emotionally connecting with a woman who never drew a single breath of air. But wait, if she's just a technical flex, why is this specific painting so universally hypnotic? Why did a dusty canvas bought for 2 guilders hijack the collective attention of the entire planet? Because the artist weaponized human psychology. Look at her parted lips. It looks like she's about to say something. To who? To you. We are biologically wired to seek eye contact and crave human connection. The reason you cannot look away is that she is designed to make you feel like the most important person in the room. It creates an active, intimate relationship with the viewer. It feels exactly as though you just called her name and she just turned to look at you. That sense of a living, breathing presence is incredibly rare in art, and it never gets old. If you want to bring that undeniable presence into your own space, simply head over to viewcrypt.com for a stunning museum-grade reproduction. I'll catch you in the next one.